Hi, Miss Barrett. My name is Brianna Swafford, and this is my presentation on water pollution in Wabash River, Indiana. To begin, I would like to say that water pollution is everywhere. It is occurring all over the world. While some of the pollutants are natural, such as dirt and animal debris, most are coming from humans. And it's not just in the oceans. When people think about water pollution, they tend to think about the oceans and beaches, but this is not the only water source that is being polluted. Many rivers around the world are being contaminated and even clogged due to the amount of debris in them. And it's in our own backyards. When learning about water pollution, in my school focused on the Ganges River in India. And when looking, I usually find articles about water pollution from third world countries. And while these issues are also important, people tend to forget that it occurs in the United States as well. Indiana is the worst state when it comes to water pollution. These images show the three main types of water pollution that occurs in the Wabash River. The top one is an example of chemical waste, and the bottom left shows the sewage waste, while the bottom right shows the waste from agriculture. Some of the main points that I will talk about during this presentation are why it's important to learn about the pollution in the Wabash River, along with policies used to combat this issue and the ways to improve these policies. A few things about the Wabash River in Indiana. First is that it's the most famous river in Indiana. The Wabash River is located in the center of the state and travels down the length of it. Many people travel and visit the river for not only recreational uses, such as swimming and kayaking, but it is also used for trading. It is also the second most important river in Indiana, following directly behind the Ohio River. The Wabash and its connected rivers and streams provide drinking water to 72% of Indiana counties. According to the Nature Conservancy, quote, "The river is home to 120 endangered, threatened, or rare plants and animals." End quote. It runs through 92 counties with the purpose of not only being a home to these creatures, but to also give water to the counties it runs through. If it is not clean, the organisms and the people are not safe. Why this is important. This affects people's health. By polluting the river, it is also polluting the aquifers and in turn the drinking water for the majority of the counties in Indiana. According to NRDC's Water Pollution, Everything You Need to Know, quote, "Once polluted, an aquifer may be unusable for decades or even thousands of years," end quote. It also affects the surrounding ecosystem. According to Kilbane, this river contributes about 11% of the excess nitrogen into the Gulf of Mexico. And like most cases, the main causes for the pollution in the Wabash River are agriculture and septic system waste. This causes the excess amount of nitrogen and phosphorus to be deposited into the river. This can threaten the organisms that live in the river along with animals who prey on the organisms in the river. Because the Wabash River runs into the Mississippi, pollution that originated in Indiana can end in the Gulf of Mexico. And while 11% does not seem like a lot, this does not include pollution from the other rivers that run into the Gulf, or the pollution from the people who live on the coast. Policies created to combat this issue. The two that I'm talking about today is the Indiana State Environmental Policy and the Clean Water Act. The Indiana State Environmental Policy is a list of guidelines for different environmental areas stating what is and is not permitted to occur. According to the waterways guidelines, a person is not allowed to dump any pollutant into the water without a permit. The Clean Water Act governs the pollution and water quality of the U.S. waterways. It aims to restore and maintain the different components of the waterways. The Clean Water Act made it unlawful for any person to discharge any pollutant from a point source into the waters. There are many different guidelines citizens and companies must follow before they can dump their waste. One is that the waste must be pre-treated before it can be dumped. The Clean Water Act states that the regulations are designed to minimize harmful impacts on aquatic life. These are some recommendations to help improve these policies. The first one is to find a new way to dispose of waste. By finding a more sustainable and safe way to dispose of our waste, whether it be chemical or sewage, it will help clean the waterways, but also the surrounding environment. The second recommendation is to add more monitors to give more feedback. Feedback can help keep the waters within regulation. By gaining more feedback, we can help improve the accuracy that the waste deposit is having on the aquatic environment in the area. Also, we can lower the limit for the amount of waste that can be deposited. The current limit for the amount of waste that can be deposited is set as a regulation so that the aquatic environment can survive. However, it is not low enough for the environment to thrive as it should. In conclusion, there is always improvements. Even though there are many guidelines and regulations in place to protect the organisms in the waterways and human health, there is still always room for improvement. New information is being found every day. And also, we can raise more awareness. Although we are being taught about water pollution and its consequences in school, we tend to forget as we get older. Climate change was not a big problem until people began to draw attention to it. If more awareness was made about the pollution of waterways, especially those that citizens use as sources for drinking water, then more actions can be taken to find solutions. It also allows students to be more careful with what they put into the water. This is a list of the resources I used for my research. Thank you.